What's up, YouTube? My name is Nisi. I'm also known as the Garden Buddy, and I am an urban gardener and wellness gardener who's found peace through gardening. And I think it's really great how plants can change our lives, how they can change our minds, how they can change our hearts. And I just want to share a little bit of what I found um, with my community. It's been um, a really interesting journey for me. I mean, I grew up in Houston, that's where I'm from. And I can't say that we had like a huge house and a really extensive garden. My mom was very into house plants. And so I do have house plants, but more than I could say that I'm not a person who just loves house plants. I'm actually more of an outside plant person. So I love being out in my garden. And so um, that's kind of what I want to share. I feel that gardening has really changed the core of who I am, and it's helped me achieve a level of peace. And um, while I want everybody to be a gardener, I also want people to slow down and lean into like the peacefulness of gardening, the slowness that comes along with being in this gardening space. And so that's pretty much what I want to share. And I am on a different social media platform. So I am on, and sorry, my dog is like right next to me, but I am on, hey, Jamia, welcome, welcome. Look at, I thought I was going to be sitting here talking to myself. So I was just sharing about my journey and how I came to gardening, excuse me. So I'm on a bunch of different social media platforms, kind of like we all are. This is how I stay connected. Um, but I um, am the garden buddy on TikTok. And 5 days a week, Monday through Friday at 6:30 in the morning, I open up with like peace in the garden. I absolutely love starting my day in my garden because I find it to be just relaxing. I appreciate the quiet. And I found that I would wake up really early. Obviously, like most gardeners, I want to get out early and check on my plants, but I just really enjoyed the slowness. And so I've only been gardening about 10 years. When I bought my home, I could really experience gardening outside. And so that's what I did. I got into flowers and really making an aesthetically beautiful space because I needed that. And I absolutely love looking at all the pretty flowers. I learned about how much I dislike the deer and the squirrels because they also want like the pretty flowers, but they want to eat my garden. Yeah, I don't love that. Uh, so it's been an interesting journey. I really started this channel because I've been on YouTube for a number of years, just first just consuming it. And then I started making videos, and they were about different things like funny things, trying out different things in the kitchen, trying out um, responding to different things that I saw online. But then I decided to share my gardening journey maybe a couple years ago, and I was not consistent with it because my garden has gone through several iterations. But right after I made like the last few changes in my yard, so if anybody's seen my garden tour, you can see that I've made changes in my yard. So right after I made those last few changes, that is when I really said, okay, let me film it. And I was talking to my cousin when I went home to Houston once, and she uh, what would I call her? A stylist? Like people who put outfits together. That's like a stylist, right? That's not like what she does for a living. It should be what she does for a living because I listen, she's gifted. I can't put together accessories like okay, yes, okay, so a stylist. So I am not good at putting things together like that, but she puts the outfits together, and she was doing that on, sorry, the dog. It was just like, I was like, no, it's gonna be YouTube. I have to have everything all perfect. It's not gonna be that. Apparently, I didn't already found out it's not gonna be all perfect. But anyway, anyway, so she had like all these followers. Like, I didn't even realize. I went and looked at the page, and she had like thousands of followers. I got less than 1,000 followers on not YouTube, but on Instagram. And I was like, why did you stop? She just stopped doing it and just leaned into work. And I think that's what we all do because we think that's what we're supposed to do. But can I've always felt considered like work is for work's sake, but like gardening is just something I do for joy. And so I never was interested in filming it or anything like that. But why not? So that's kind of why I'm here. So today's topic really is like how gardening became like a tool for healing for me. How can we find peace in the garden, and how can we secure have a more secure food source? Because I don't know if you're experiencing the same thing that I'm experiencing, but where I live, everything has gotten ridiculously expensive. Every time I I order anything, because I do order my groceries. I can't stand going to the grocery store. I was like, Instacart, yes. So, this is not sponsored by Instacart, but I was just like, okay, so you're experiencing it too. It's everything is so expensive. And I'm like, why? So at some point, like eggs were like $10 for like 18 eggs. It became like $10 for that. Everything is really expensive. And I was looking online the other day. I was on IG, like doom scrolling, and they said, whoever this economist was, he said the dollar today is worth 25% less than it was 5 years ago. So in the dreaded 2020, when everything was terrible and I thought things were high then, everything is worth less. But we're not getting raises, we're not barely getting promotions, but the cost of living just keeps going up. So my groceries are like super expensive. And I had started growing food in 2020, but now I'm like, this is kind of going to be like a real thing. Like, I'm really going to have to supplement my food because I can't afford to pay these ridiculous prices. And the other thing is, every time I look, something's being recalled. I make my dogs food, so I'm like I don't do a good job of meal prepping for myself, but I definitely do meal prep for my dog Dante. And so I had ordered some carrots, and those had to be recalled because of, it wasn't salmonella, it was like listeria. Gross. Why is there listeria in the carrots? And I think it's because all of these major corporations are like, you know, we're going to, it's like a monoculture, right? All of the carrots are being made by this company. All of the pistachios are being made by this company, and so on and this and so. And they can basically set their prices because we don't have the gardens in our house like we used to. And so I'm in love that people are coming back to gardening. But this is really, for me, this was one of the significant things and how I really came to it. I want to be clear about what my food sources are. So I do want there to be a level of food security, but also putting my hands in the soil, it just made it quiet for me. Like, life be lifing. And it was so stressful. And there was just felt like there was always something going on. But when I could just get out into the garden, whether things were growing well or not, just putting my hands in the soil, it just made it more quiet. It just made it peaceful. I mean, for lack of a better word. So that's really kind of how I came to this journey. And so that was my foray into gardening. I don't know if it was the same for you, like if you had a similar experience, but that was the experience for me, just really kind of finding that peace. Oh my God, yes, Jamia. It's like it's like it's like if you just be still, you can just feel his presence. And I always think of, is this biblical? I just, I don't know all the Bible like that, but it's like the creation. I firmly believe the creation is evidence of the creator, right? Like I took a seed, right? Like he gave us everything we need. And for people who aren't believers, if any of them come across this, I am. So um I'm not in I don't believe in evolution. And I'm sure there's going to be a scientist who will look at this and be like, "What? You don't believe in?" I don't. I believe in intelligent design, and I believe I was created, and I don't see any evidence of anything having ever evolved. Yeah, take it up with me. I'm not a scientist. I'm a believer. But yeah, just being out there, I just feel like I'm in his presence, and like I'm close, and I can be still, and I can every with all the things that are silent, it's like I can hear his voice, right? I am closer to him. And so that's kind of one of the things that's that peace, that I want, that I know I found, and I want other people to find it too. Sorry. Um, I did put on some like rouge, because if you know, from if you've been on my TikTok, like I just be up in the morning and I don't do that, but I said I gotta step it up. Not just for the YouTube audience, but just in general, I gotta step it up. I want to do a better job of showing up. So we'll see how I look in the morning. I'll be back on TikTok in the morning, and so people be able to see there. But if I wake up in time, I can put a little rouge on, make it happen. So what was really happening in my life, y'all? If you remember what was 2020, so I was already doing like the flower gardening, and I was very interested in having a aesthetically beautiful space. But 2020, when I started like really leaning into the food aspect of it, with everything going on and trying to have a more secure food source. But also I was stressed out. I was so stressed. The hospital had called. So apparently there was a questionnaire that I had done, and whatever the questions were on this questionnaire, they were like trying to reach me, like they thought I was going to jump off a building or something. Now, obviously, I was not, and I did not. But apparently, I was depressed. We were like kind of sequestered in the house, and I wasn't interacting with anyone. It was just me. So there was no other people that I was talking to or that I was near. And so it was just me in my house all the time. And I know people were like, "Oh, we got to homeschool our kids," and all of those things. And I didn't have Dante at the time. So it was just me alone in my house all the time. And it was hard. It was hard. I don't know if anybody else experienced the same thing, but for me, not touching another human, it was months before I even touched another person, because I was scared. I didn't know what was going on. I don't think any of us had any idea. And so I was just in my house. And so that's when I really was like, okay, I'm gonna lean into gardening. I've got seeds. We could go to Home Depot. We could go to Lowe's. Those were considered like essential. And so I was in there buying the house plants, right? Because that was something I could take care of, and having a living thing around, but also buying seeds. Like, let's put these seeds out here and see what happens. And so, my first couple of things I grew bell peppers and basil, and what else did I grow? Bell pepper, baked tomatoes. It was rough because I lost my husband. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. and then you're just stuck. You can't like get out. You could kind of walk, but it was I am so sorry. I did not know that. But yeah, that's extremely rough. Uh, we were all just kind of stuck, and you could kind of go, you could walk, but it was difficult because we did not know what we were going through, and we were all just stuck experiencing it. Um, oh, oh yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, that's heartbreaking. Though I'm sorry to hear that. But yeah, it was really I think rough for a lot of us because we were just stuck inside, and I did not have anyone like here in this house with me. So it was tough. Yeah. Walked the yard to get fresh air. I started walking at that time, just walking um, to make me feel better. And so I did have a therapist. I finally got one, and I was going on long walks. I started walking like 2 miles, and then I think we were made it to October. I think I was up to like, I don't know, 11 miles per day. And I remember the therapist was like, well, are you walking more because you're enjoying the walks, or is it taking you 11 miles to feel better? I was like, well, come on with the gut punch then, Doc. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was like, yeah, the fresh air made a difference being outside, but it was still like not being in contact with people. And we're social beings. We need people. The best version of ourselves is, in my personal opinion, is not us alone. We are not our best selves by ourselves. We need people. We need to be in interaction with other people. I studied psychology, and I remember one of the things they taught us was this study that they had done. Listen, I don't like the therapists who want to call you on your crap. I mean, I do like the therapists who want to call you on crap, but don't. Did you just read me like that? Didn't wasn't looking for that, but I was. But still, that's ouch. So yeah, the therapist definitely was reading me on my stuff, and but I was saying I just remember this study from when I was studying psychology, and it was called analytic depression. There were all these babies, and so they had split the babies off, and so it was like some some of the babies, they picked them up and they held them and would just cuddle them, and the other babies, they would feed them, and they would at least warn me before you step on my toes. Facts. But so some of the babies, they it was the same pool of babies. Some of them, they would cuddle them, but the others, they would just feed them and change them and all of that, and nothing else. No love, no affection. What they did not realize what would happen, and this was a very long time ago, so this was not recent, but it was in the 20th century. What they didn't realize what was going to happen was that the babies who were not receiving like the cuddling and the love and the holding, they didn't live. They perished from lack of affection. It was called analytic depression, and that humans don't, like adults, we don't experience that in the same way. Obviously, we can survive, but it's not our best selves. So that was me just kind of circling back to my best self. But yeah, I think you know what I love though, Jamia, that you're saying your therapist did it. I think that that is so important because a lot of us are not on board with like, I don't need no therapy, especially in my community. Like we like, no, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get over it. Hey, you might need to talk to somebody. You might need a little help. Maybe you can't pull yourself up by your bootstrap. Maybe you are so down you can't even find your bootstraps. You can't reach them. You need help. And I love that we have come to a place where we are ready to ask for help. But yeah, the I'm gonna say, listen, therapist, get your knee off my neck. Yes, cause listen, I would think if I had Um, if I had uh, some kind of ongoing illness, right? Like, I don't know, heart disease, where I had to continually see a doctor. Nobody would say anything that I was continually seeing the doctor. They actually might ask you, like, hey, have you been to the doctor? But for some reason, with therapy, they feel like, okay, well, fix this and you're done. You don't need to see a doctor anymore. No, the issue is still there. The thing is still there. I can still work through this. Nobody would say anything if you continue to go. Life feels like one of those things we need to continue to go. Like, I don't know about y'all, like maybe y'all are having some separate experience than I am, but I have to tell you, the hits keep coming. I think I'm gonna keep talking to somebody. Like, as soon as I feel good, like, okay, I made it, like, whoo, I'm ready to keep moving forward. And in life be like with the pow, pow, pow. Yes, I listen, the hits keep coming. So if you still seeing a therapist, yeah, listen. How could we how listen? Hey, Miss Plantaholic, we have to keep going. The hits just keep coming. So we have to keep making it a thing that, we continue to take care of ourselves. And so for me, one of those ways I take care of myself, yes, therapy. Yes, therapy. Yes, being in the garden. For some people, this might not be the peace for them, but what is that thing for you? I'm going to submit for others. Did you try gardening? Did you get your hands in the soil? Is this like a form of grounding for us? You know how people can just stand outside and you have the ground wires, and so you're grounding yourself in the earth. We're connecting with nature because we're so far removed. We live in concrete areas with concrete houses, and we're on the 20th floor, and so we're so removed from nature and green things. I submit that we are better when we're back in in relationship with our plants, even our house plants. Now, I love an outdoor plants. I actually harvested some tomatoes today, but I think we need to be back in. Yes, it's good to see you. Your piece is definitely in the garden. Your family members always tease you. Listen, where's their thing? I mean, what you teasing me for? Are y'all gonna eat some of this food that I'm bringing in? Cause what you teasing me for? What you teasing me for? Listen, I harvested blueberries today. I brought in peaches. I brought in some of my tomatoes actually fell off. I was like, oh, y'all must be ready. I had not picked them up, but some of my tomatoes fell off. And I'm like, oh, okay, must be time. I can grab water. See, I can actually grab water on here. So on TikTok, if any of y'all familiar, you can't really drink on camera, but here it's perfectly fine. And this is just water, y'all. Ice water. Oh, I'm waiting on my okra. You harvested 6 okra and ate them raw. I'm waiting for my okra. Now mine are not ready yet, but soon come. My okra soon come. For me, I would say, excuse me. For me, I would say that 2020 was probably my light bulb moment. Like, this makes a difference for me for the garden. I don't know if y'all want to share what your light bulb moment was. Like, what was the point that you realized, like, hey, I figured out, I didn't figured out the secret sauce for me. I need to have my hands in this soil, or I need to, I need to be outside. I need to be present in my garden in this space. Sometimes I just sit out there and it's quiet, and the bees are buzzing around, especially like towards the end of the season where you're kind of letting things go to flower. I love when I let the basil go to flower because everything comes for the basil, and it's just so peaceful. Everything's just buzzing around. I love it. So that's kind of where I figured out. I would say 2020 is where I figured out this is the secret sauce for me. This is the garden, being present in the garden. That was it. Jamia, your YouTube family saw your backyard and said, "Why is there no food back?" Girl, why was there no food back there? Like, yeah, because we were just busily growing flowers, right? I never thought that I could grow food, especially because I'm a small space gardener. And so everything is containers. And so when I looked at the people I watched who were growing things, they were like putting stuff in the ground or they had raised beds. I didn't have space for that. So I believed I couldn't do it. And then I just was like, oh, okay. I think, did I see someone doing containers? Or I just was like, this is what I got. I'm going to work with what I got. You haven't gotten to growing veggies yet? Oh, 12 years. Ooh, I love it. Miss Plantaholic, you know what I absolutely love growing? Dahlias. Now, I did not plant dahlias this year. I usually will purchase the dahlia. It's a dahlia tuber, right? I think it's a tuber. And so I usually will purchase those and plant them. I only had them come back 1 year, but what came back with them was all of the Japanese beetles. But I oh, it's your second summer. Congratulations, Jamisi. I don't have any sound effects. So I would say that's one thing I love about TikTok. I don't have any sound effects. Maybe I'll get to the point where, the people have like all the giant mic and they have the screens out in front of them. I'm not there. So I don't have any sound effects, but I would be like, hey, congratulations on your second summer growing. Yeah, it is extremely addictive. I can't lie. I am still 100% on my flower game needing to be strong just because some of those blooms when they come out, I don't know what your blooms are that you have right now, Miss Plantaholic, but I absolutely love them. Hi, Shakaria. Shakaria, how are you? Welcome, welcome. We're just kind of talking about you're afraid that the creepy callers will come around. Oh, I love dahlias too. I was just telling you, I absolutely love them. Welcome. We're just talking about how we found peace in the garden. For me, it's oh, Shy. Hi. Hey. Welcome, welcome. Oh, TikTok family. I had for my TikTok family showing up. I absolutely love it because I was resolved that I said, well, I'm going to go live and it'll just be like the first time I went live on TikTok and I'll just be talking to myself. And if I could do anything, I could flap my little gums. So I'll be chatty over here talking to myself. Oh, you dropped two zinnias. I haven't planted any zinnias yet. So I was like, I don't know if I am because y'all, all of my zinnias are the big ones. It's the California Giants. I need to go purchase like a pack of the small zinnias, not the giants. I need something small that I can share with people. So that's what I need. What now when you say the creepy crawlers will come around, you mean like squirrels, the thugs of the planting community? Because squirrels are the thugs of the planting community. Yeah, I could have a tendency to, I don't know what my deal is. I be wanting the big plants. Oh, snakes. Okay, yeah. I'm surprised they haven't come around now. So before I even started planting food, I did see a large snake in the yard. Now I'm not afraid of snakes because the only ones I have seen, well, I've only seen one, and my neighbor had one living under his deck, and I was like, that's so interesting. I wonder where it came from. But I've only had what do you call those rat snakes that they eat like garden pests? They don't not a problem for humans. So I was gonna go throw it over the fence. And I was like, Somebody would be freaked out about picking up a snake, but as I got closer to it, it got afraid and it slithered on out. But I haven't seen one since then. So that has to be, I want to say that was 2020. That was the last time I saw one. I think what's helping me is my dog. So the dog is keeping the snakes from coming back. I don't want you to see any either, child. I used to be, what used to bother me? Wasps. And I'm kind of gotten to the place where I'm fine with them. Now, yellow jackets, you still gotta watch yourself. Yellow jackets, hornets. I am not friend of hornets, and they are not friend of us. So, hornets, but like the little paper wasps, those red, black, and yellow ones, they don't really bother me. Um, and what else? Spiders. I was really afraid of spiders. You can't garden and be afraid of spiders. You can't. And you actually want spiders in your garden. One of my plant friends on TikTok is named Brandy, and she does more with the indoor plants. Now, in my house, I don't want the spider, but outside, y'all have at it. That would be the end of your gardening. Oh no, we don't want it to be the end of your garden. I don't want that to be the end of your garden. Hopefully, you won't have any. But yeah, if you put out delicious food, then things that want to eat the delicious food would come as well. The things that want to eat the things that eat the delicious food will come. So you're probably going along the right way. But I just put out Friday. What did I put out? Pumpkin. And it's actually in my downstairs. So I try to keep most of the food upstairs. So because I'm an urban gardener, and so I mostly garden on my deck. I do have some things that are on the lower level in the courtyard. My peach tree, my crimson sweet watermelon, which I wasn't supposed to be growing watermelon this year, but here we are. And I bought something called prolific kiwi, and that is growing down there. It wasn't supposed to. It looked like it was unaliving, and then yet here it is. It's back. Oh, possum and raccoons, but they didn't bother the garden. Raccoons scared the daylights out of me. You could it looked like a little criminal invading your area, and they got hands like. It's like raccoons are scary. I would be afraid. So I'm glad they didn't bother the garden. I'm glad they didn't bother you either, because raccoons, no, no. I can't with the I haven't seen any in my garden, but again, I think what's helping me is that I have the dog. However, what I did notice, because I have one little strip of dirt where I can grow, most of my flowers and things are growing in my courtyard. That area might be 3 or 4 feet, might be 4+ feet actually. Yeah, it's a thing called prolific kiwi. But I did notice a mole was able to get there. The moles really can't get anywhere else in my yard. So I'm not sure what it went and got to, but it has made its way to, I guess, get to the what is there that's planted? Grape hyacinths. Yeah. So that's the only thing that I can think of. Yeah, there's this thing called prolific kiwi. I had never heard of it. I didn't think that we could grow kiwi in our region. But prolific kiwi are smaller than the kiwi fruit that we normally see, the brown ones with the fuzzy skin. The prolific kiwi are actually green. They're smaller. They look like a giant grape. They stay green, and they're apparently sweeter than the kiwis that we have been getting, and they grow in a vine, and they grow all year. And so what I was reading, it said you need a male and a female. And I was like, you need a male and a female. How could you tell if it's a male or a female with this little thing? Well, they produce male and female flowers, kind of like our watermelon do. So That would have been helpful to know. Like, you need to find those seeds. Yeah, I actually found I didn't start it from seed. I actually got the plants. Um, I actually got the plant from Lowe's, but this is going to be like a long season thing because it'll be probably 3 years. So that's what the gardening is, the long game. That's one of those things where it kind of takes me back. I know people are going to be like, she's just talking about God, but it kind of takes me back. It's patience. Like, you have to have hope. Like, gardening is all about hope. I planted this. I hope something comes up. Like with my peony, it took me 3 years before I finally got, it took me 3 years before I finally got a flower. So I was just waiting. It was a waiting game. Like, here's more greenery. Okay, here's more greenery. The third year with Sleep Creep Leaf, the third year I finally had a peony. So these kiwis are the same. You don't want to plant them near your house though, because it is a vine and it is the prolific part, prolific. So it will grow and grow and grow. So you need to give it an arbor or something that it can grow on. Let's see. It was a family of four. What? Not four raccoons. A family of four raccoons. Two of them you caught on the camera. Oh, God. See what I say? Little criminals. They got the little mask on. They're like little criminals. So you caught them. That's wild to me. That is wild. Raccoon and possum, they want the trash. So I don't have to worry about deer because I have this 6 foot fence. Obviously, when I move to an area that I have more space, that will definitely be a consideration. And the only thing you can do to prevent deer from like eating your stuff, I mean, obviously you can plant things that they're not attracted to, but you really need a physical barrier, a large fence or something to keep them out. Yes. You have a video of a raccoon on top of your trash can lifting up the lid. Oh, so you see what I'm saying? You probably did you put like so you would think like I guess if you put like a latch or something, the gag would be if you had to put a latch on your trash can and then the raccoon lifted up the latch. At that point, it's yours. I can't continue to fight this battle because obviously you win. If you're able to unlatch the trash can to get to the things, yeah. I'm glad that your rabbits don't bother the garden because I also had rabbits before I updated my garden, and they did. And they would eat my plants in my face. It's like, oh, you have asters? These are lovely and delicious. We're going to eat them. Oh, are you looking? This is me eating your aster. It's like the rabbits did not care. And my neighbors had named him Peter Rabbit. And they're like, oh, Peter's so cute. I said, well, why don't you try to get him to come to your house as opposed to being over here eating up my garden? Because that's what was going on. It was eating up my garden. Peter, why? Why do they have to give him a name? Why do they have to give him a name? Not Peter Rabbit, because this is like so they're so cute. No, don't be fooled. This is the garden interloper. Don't let the fuzzy face fool you. You think it's all cute, and you're like, oh, he's so cute. I love the rabbits. You love the rabbits because he's eating my flowers. If he was eating your flowers, you would not love the rabbits. Plants enough for you, your family, and the wildlife. Okay. I don't want to plant for them. I don't want to plant for them. I only have so much space. I don't have enough space to plant for them too. No, no. You just planted peonies? See, now you should be fine. I didn't see the rabbits eat my peonies. Howsoever, I think I planted the peonies. Was that after? No, no, that was before I made the change to the garden. So yes. So I don't think they were interested in the peony. I have a herbaceous peony of the I want to say it's a is it a Carl Rosenfeld? I think it's a Carl Rosenfeld. It's like a deep fuchsia, so pretty. And I love that it puts on all this growth. So in the wintertime, there's like nothing there. You don't see anything. But then in the spring, it's like back. Like, hey girl, we're back. And then it just puts on all this beautiful uh plants, these beautiful leaves, and then you see the buds come out. And there's been more buds and it's been more robust every year. So I'm loving it. Yeah. So your peony should be fine. Um I don't think the rabbits are gonna go for your peonies. But those asters, those I have little purple asters with the yellow, they're purple with the yellow center. Yeah, they were chomping down on those. And it's like they knew I was there because they were chomping down and then they were like, I'm just gonna eat this in your face. They also say like the rabbit poop. They said that that's really good for the garden. It's like one of the best fertilizers because you can use it immediately. It's you don't have to wait for it to like like you do with like cow manure where it's hot. You have to kind of wait for it to age out to be able to use it. You can actually use that immediately in the garden. So it's supposed to be really good. Dear, hey sister. So my sister joined. How you doing, Greta? Welcome, welcome. We're having a bit of gardening chats. Yeah, the deer you have to worry about. So I think that's what happened to one of my gardening friends. She got so discouraged. She planted nasturtiums. Now you know they ate the nasturtiums. We can eat nasturtiums. Deer are going to eat the nasturtiums too. And so every little thing she would plant between the squirrel and the deer, they were just eating all her stuff. But she lives in an area where she has a backyard, but she doesn't have any fencing. So all they would do was just make their way over. Okay. The dog just got up and moved around. He scared me. But yeah, they would just make their way over and just eat all her stuff as soon as she would plant it. So I think she had like sweet potatoes that she had started. So, the slips with all of we can eat those, the sweet potato leaves. Those are just greens. You have hibiscus in your front yard that actually need to be cut back because they're about to touch the roof. Wow. That sounds beautiful. I mean, yes, cut them back, but that sounds lovely. Thank God I don't have any of these problems. That's hilarious. I plan on getting the rabbit poop next year. You just got about 20 gallons of chicken poop. Now I did not. I had not 20 gallons. How big is your garden space? 20 gallons is a lot. Where are you storing this? Do you have a barn? Because where does one store 20 gallons of chicken poop? Like I'm thinking about a gallon of water, right? So I'm clear on how big a gallon is. 20 gallons is a lot of chicken poop. That's a lot of poop there, lady. Oh, you have to post a video. Please tag me in it so I can see because I would love to see what that looks like. It sounds beautiful. What color is your hibiscus? Is it pink or you couldn't pass on the deal? See, that's the thing. This is why I be stuck at Lowe's. This is why I have a ridiculous number of gardenias and no place to put them because they were on sale. And I'm like, well, I can't just leave them here. They're on sale. No, I don't have space for them, but they're on sale. So I couldn't stop myself. 20 gallons. Orangey red. Oh, that sounds beautiful. Oh, you have to take a picture, especially when they're fully in bloom. Oh my gosh, that's got to be a show. That has got to be a show. So I would love to grow. So one of the gardeners I like to follow, they're growing hibiscus. They're growing the sorrel, which is the more medicinal kind that we can eat or drink. So they make the jamaica that's made from like a hibiscus. but it's the sorrel. And I have to remember the which kind of hibiscus it is. I would have to look it up. But there's a kind of hibiscus that we can ingest. I don't have that, but this was my first year that I started being more intentional with growing medicinals for my garden. And so I would love that. Roselle, that's it. Thank you. Thank you, Shy. Yeah, that's the one that I would like to grow, but I just really feel like I need more space. I am growing everything in containers, but y'all have seen my garden. I'm out of space. I'm out of space. There's no more room. So I'm going to need a lot more space if I'm going to make this happen. But yeah, I have this year, I've started with the elderberry. I did the holy basil, and as well, I started the mullein, which was a lot easier to grow than I was expecting because it's surface sown. So this is my first year doing any surface sown seeds. It's Mightion, Mightion. It's Mightion. I think this is my cousin, and he's trying to say Myron, but you spelled your own name wrong. I think that's my cousin on my sister's phone. He spelled his own name wrong. It's Myron. Oh my gosh. It's Myron. Yeah, I figured it out. Lowe's clearances, which is 90% of your garden. Oh, you are winning in life. 5 red ones, 12 pink hibiscus, and you're a tall and wide. You know what I really wanted? Those blue, is it blue roses, Sharon? Oh, the blue chiffon. How pretty is that? Like, oh, I would love to have that in my garden. I just don't have the space though. So I try to plant things that will allow me to grow in the small space that I have. So I can't have things that's going to go crazy. They kind of have to stay. Now, there's a blue one. Yeah, I would love that. That sounds beautiful. That I would love to also plant some azaleas. I don't have any azaleas in my yard. So I would love to have more of the flowering things, but some of these things get a lot bigger than the space I have available. So I try to plant things that, stay in that, you know, 3 to 4 foot width range. And it can grow tall, but I can't really have anything grow wide in my area. Oh, you have 2 pink hibiscus, no roses sharing yet. Now you got to go find it. Yeah. So Proven Winners, I want to say, has a blue chiffon. I don't know how I get in good with them, but if they ever get to the place where they want to send me plants, I would not turn them down. I am in love with the hydrangeas, which I can just imagine having a row of them just planted really good together. Oh, it's at Lowe's. I'm not going to Lowe's. You're not about to give me a couple of Lowe's. That's hilarious, though. But oh, that would be amazing to have. Oh no, my dog is very insistent that I take on. So I don't know what I'm going to. I'm going to have to get him a bone next time because he's. I'm sitting up and I'm talking, and so he's like, "Well, this seems like the best time for me to bring you toys to throw, so I can go run and catch them." We're not going to play that game. Yeah, Lowe's with the your kids banned you from Lowe's. They don't get to decide. Y'all want to eat? Y'all appreciate having lights and such. They don't get to decide. Go to Lowe's. You could just take a look. You don't have to buy anything. Just kind of walk down the aisles, take a look over at clearance and see if there's anything there. And so that's one of the things with all this rain and like on super hot days, that's like, in my personal opinion, if you're trying to find a Lowe's discount, that's like the time to go because they don't really be taking care of the plants. They're like, hey, this is my little gig I'm doing, but I'm not really taking care of the plants. I don't care. So they just be out here letting these plants suffer. I am willing to step in and help because what I noticed as well is they take the plants and will put them on clearance just because they need space for something else. Like there's nothing wrong with it. I have one of the endless summer hydrangeas now. Again, I have no place to put this plant. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I would have to change the configuration of my entire front yard just to have space for this hydrangea, and I don't have space for this hydrangea. So I've been trying to find someone who wants it, but it was in perfect condition. And there's still nothing wrong with it. I'm sure it would like to come out of the container that it's in, but it was in absolutely perfect condition. But they will put things on clearance just because they need to bring out something else. Lowe's the candy store. You walk in and they like, hey, it's good to see you again. How things going? Oh, what was going? Did you get that deal with the grocery store? Like they're just making conversation because they know you now. They like she's one of us. So I don't know. Are hydrangeas my favorite flower? Lilies are my favorite flower. I absolutely adore them and they smell wonderful to me. But hydrangeas, I just think they're so pretty. And because we're in an area where you get that cold snap, they just come out gorgeous. Now, the one thing I will say that I notice about the hydrangeas here, so here we have a more acidic soil. Orchids are your favorite. Help me. I am not an orchid person. It just seems like they need so much humidity. And we get humidity, but like when I went to Miami, I saw orchids just living in the trees, just growing, happy as could be. Here, someone had given me one. Oh no, someone had given me one. I put it outside, but they gave it to me in a container as well that doesn't have any what do you call those? They didn't have any drainage holes. That's a no-no. As a container gardener, I have to have proper drainage and nothing wants to sit in water. Very, very, I can't think of any plant that wants to sit in water and just suffocate in it, that there's no air flowing. Oh, geraniums, beautiful. Hibiscus, vandavias. I have some vandavias and zinnias. I think mandavillas are so pretty and tropical. Tropical. Dipladina, is that the other name for them? Absolutely beautiful. So I didn't realize my mandavillas were going to try to vine like they are. So I put an arrangement together in my backyard, and my mandevilla has started to. I have some large cannas in there. The mandevilla has started to go up and twine itself around the canna, and I was like, if this isn't the most gorgeous thing ever, I love it. I'm super pleased with it. I'm here for it. Let's go. Zinnias are so pretty. Actually, I want to say when I was when I first started growing flowers from seed, the first one I grew from seed was a zinnia. It's just one of those ones that's easy and it's so satisfying because then you're like, this is beautiful. Thank you. It was, but again, one of the California giants. I need to get the smaller zinnias because I keep buying these large flowers. I don't know that I really have space for those. So, um, my goal. So, like, I know we were talking about hibiscus. My goal has been to like kind of try to focus on growing more medicinals. So, I would love to be able to get the roselle. I would love to be able to get I have the elderberry, I have the mullein, and the holy basil, which is, oh, super fragrant and delicious. So now that I have a food dehydrator, I'm going to try that. So I've heard a lot of people say that this year, Jamia, that they've been having that their marigolds were super tall. And so because we're expecting the little small ones, but I don't know what happened, if there was some mix up with the seeds and they were just like, here, we're just putting them out there, because quite a lot of people have gotten the really large marigolds. Yes, okay. So you too? I did not get I still have the little ones, but I'm taking my seeds and I'm not so I think if we I don't did you purchase did you purchase a plant, or did you buy, like, did you start them from seed? Because that's what I'm curious of. The blue rose of Sharon is in your proven winners card. I love it. I love it. I'm jealous. I too would like the blue rose of Sharon. Oh, you started from seeds. So I'm wondering if something didn't happen, like there was some mix up that they put out the giant marigolds, because other people have had the same thing happen this year. Oh goodness. Yeah, other people have had the same thing happen this year, that they had these super large marigolds that came up. And so that's the only thing I can think of, that there must have been some kind of mix up, because I have been saving my seeds. So I have the smaller ones. I bought some bright yellow ones this year. I love the French ones with the red. I think those are so pretty, but they had some bright yellow ones. So I bought those, and I've been saving the seeds from those so that I can reproduce those next year. Yes, there are African marigolds, and the African marigolds are bigger. The French marigolds are those little red and yellow ones. I love those. And then I've gotten these gold ones, which I absolutely love those too. And so I have been using those and saving seed from those, because I cannot buy the seeds, continue to buy the seeds. I just feel like they're like, we have to really be cognizant of saving our seeds moving forward, because have you noticed, like, the price in the seeds has gone up? Like, I remember purchasing some of these packets of seeds was $1.79. I'm not crazy. I could be crazy, but I know that the packet of seeds was like $1.79. And I go look at these seeds now, and they're like $3.49. Still cheaper than whatever item I was gonna buy. Like if I was actually gonna buy like a flat of marigolds, still cheaper. But why $3? It's like what's that? That's expensive. It's like double. It's like double almost. It's almost double the price. Right. Because they're so easy to harvest those seeds out of them. And so that's all I'm doing. When I see them start to get brown and crispy, I'm like, let me just pop this off. And I have the little seed packets. I'm just dropping those seeds in there so I can save as many seeds as possible. Definitely from my purple bells. I've got seeds from those. I saved my little red snacking peppers. I always buy bell pepper. And so I'm going to try. I have to say try, because I've not been really good at germinating these peppers on my own to be able to grow from seed. I always buy the bell peppers. This year was my first year getting any kind of pepper seed outside of jalapeno, right? Because jalapeno, they just like it hot. Put a seed out there, it's hot, it'll grow. But same for the poblano. I put the seed out there, it's perfectly happy and doing its thing. But I noticed when I tried to grow like bell pepper from seed, it's just a struggling mess. It's a hot struggling mess. Or maybe it's a cold struggling mess, because apparently they like a little more heat to germinate. So I will be using a heat mat moving forward, because I do want to grow these things from seed, because I'm not paying $3.49 for the seed pack. I'm definitely not going to buy the plant start every year, because I just feel like that's going to get more and more expensive. So it's definitely going to be a case of saving seed so that I can reproduce this thing. So if you got your good producers, like my banana peppers are looking really, really good this year. I'm definitely going to be saving those seeds. And if you have little envelopes, just start like writing down whatever it is. So when you say you haven't been able to grow any peppers, you mean like none at all? Like no peppers at all? Like they won't grow in your area, or you haven't been able to grow them from seed? Because my peppers are growing. The bell pepper definitely. What? What growth zone are you in? I'm in 7B, and my bell peppers, yeah, so the hot ones. Yeah, I tried to germinate my jalapeno, and I ended up buying a plant start from Lowe's because the jalapeno seed had started, but it didn't thrive. And part of that is because the weather was terrible this year. It's normally our last frost date is like mid-April. Our last frost date this year was the end of May. It was May 26th. So normally I've got my seeds and stuff outside and they're thriving. So this was the first year and I was like, no, I'll just still put it out there. No, it was still cold. So things were not thriving. So I definitely think it's a good idea to invest in a heat mat. So if you don't have one, think about the heat mat and definitely think about, setting up the grow light system. Oh, you think it was your soil? It's pop. I mean, I don't know. Just to get started because it just needs a nice, warm, wet environment. I know that the jalapenos like it hot. Now, the only hot peppers I'm growing are poblano and jalapeno, and those aren't as hot. I'll say this though. I was always like, oh, jalapeno is a more mild pepper. When you're growing them at your house, they're not nearly as mild as the one you buy in the store. I'm not sure what they did to the ones in the store to make them so mild, but the ones you grow at your house, like you gotta be careful. Lesson learned. Do not touch that jalapeno with your fingers and touch your face. Do not touch the jalapeno with your hands and then touch your face. Don't rub your eyes. Don't go to the bathroom. Wash your hands. Ah, so yeah, I had just heard about the jalapeno for the first time this year. A non-hot jalapeno. I must try this jalapeno. I actually like the heat from it, but so is it no heat at all, or it's just less heat? Because yeah, the ones you grow at your house, man, that's I was like, oh, jalapeno's not that bad. Yeah, they hot. It's a hot. It's a hot pepper. It's a hot pepper. Don't touch your face at all. Don't rub your eyes. Do not go to the bathroom. Wash your hands first. Do those things first. Learn from my mistakes. Don't do it. But you were given the seed. Listen, this is not y'all laughing at me. Learn from my mistakes. I made this mistake already, so you don't have to. So I went through this pain, so you don't have to learn from my mistakes. Wash your hands or wear gloves, right? Because then you can just take your gloves off. But don't go rub it on your eyes like, oh, something in my eye. It's jalapeno juice now. That's what's in your eye. Now you're out here, you're suffering. You're suffering. Don't do it, y'all. I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson. So yeah, I'm wondering. So yeah, it was a it was a hot lesson. I learned a very hot lesson. Don't do that. Jalapenos are hot. The capsaicin was capsaicin. Lesson learned. Yeah. So yeah, I'm curious about what it was about the dirt then when you started them that made it not work out because I'm trying to think. I don't do like a seed starting mix. I just do regular like potting soil, but because I start everything I grow is mostly in pots. I swear I'm throwing dog toys because if any of you don't know, I have this golden doodle. You probably already know. This is the most Velcro dog of the Velcro dogs. He's like, hey, you're gonna be over here? I'm just gonna scooch myself in right there. And I feel bad about like if I go into a space and like close him off, because then he's sad. So I just have to deal with it. We're all gonna deal with it together. Me and my Velcro dog. It's just being very Velcro. He's being very Velcro. You learn more about fertilizer this growing season, so you're going to try again until you get some to grow. Yeah, I don't. So you're not fertilizing the seed though. You're fertilizing once it's a seedling, right? Because when you're first getting it to grow, don't hit it with fertilizer yet. Let it come up, and then once it's starting to put on growth, then you start fertilizing. Yes. Okay. We're cooking with gas. Yes. Do y'all have a set fertilizer day? Mine is Monday. And so I had someone ask me if I was going to increase my fertilization because it's been raining so much. No. My answer to that is no. No, I will not fertilize my plant more because it's raining more. So I use the water soluble fertilizer. And the reason I like that is normally it's Espoma Grow. Then this year I also tried the Tiger Bloom one. So I had never used that before. They don't smell good because I like to use organics. So there's a very strong, they're very odoriferous. Odoriferous, yeah. But so I like the water solubles because then your plant's roots are able to uptake those nutrients immediately, right? They're able to access them as soon as possible. I'm not going to over fertilize. Number one, these organic fertilizers are not cheap. But the other thing is that can run a risk of over fertilizing. Now, with an organic, you're probably not going to hurt anything except your pocketbook. You're learning every day from the garden community. Your channel is initially mukbangs, but now more gardening. That's hilarious. Hi, Lilia. Uh, so the two organic fertilizer brands that so there's let me tell you the two that I use the most. So more than anything, I use the Espoma products. I like the Espoma Grow. So it's Espoma Organic Grow, GRO, no W. And that is a liquid fertilizer. I like to use that when my plants are starting to. Well, wonderful. I'm glad you found me, Lilia. Welcome, welcome. We're having a little bit of a gardening chat. So yeah, I would recommend the fertilizer that I use or the Espoma Organic. So they have lots of granule types, plant tone, garden tone. They have a berry tone. So those are all going to be more slow release. All of the granule fertilizers are going to be more slow release, but I like them because they are organic and I've had wonderful experience with the Espoma products. So I feel perfectly comfortable in recommending those. Also for the citrus and the berries, I use Dr. Earth's Handmade Organic. I like that one as well. I use that on my plants and it is also a granule. 100%. I can recommend it. The organics are not going to be heavy nitrogen that could burn your roots out, right? For the liquid fertilizers, I actually like the Espoma Organic Grow. So that's the one I was telling you, GRO, no W. And that is very odoriferous, but it is a liquid fertilizer. And so you'll put like, depending on how much, it's like 1 or 2 capfuls to a gallon, and then use that to fertilize your plants. The organics are not going to stress anything but your pocketbook. So You don't have to worry about it being high nitrogen that it could burn out your plant roots or something like that. I also just, for the first time this year, started using what's called Tiger Bloom. And so I haven't really applied it to my foods that I'm growing. I've mostly applied it to the flowers because I do fertilize my flowers as well, especially my annuals in the front yard. I don't really have many annuals in the backyard because I've moved more to perennials, but definitely for my annuals, I will put out, I will regularly fertilize them because I want them to continue to put on growth. Yeah, it's not cheap. So that's what I was saying. For any of the fertilizers, if you're going organic, you are definitely going to spend a lot more money. None of the fertilizers are cheap. So that's where it comes, that's where composting is going to make a difference. Now, I'm in a small space and I always feel like I really didn't have space to compost, and I still don't feel like I have space to compost, honestly. And I was like, yeah, I could compost, but where would I put it? So if you can compost and you can generate a compost and create your own compost tea and use that to fertilize your garden, that would be fantastic and would save you a lot of money in comparison to what you'll spend on some of these organic fertilizers. Worm castings, bone meal, blood meal, tomato and herb, fish emulsion. I use the fish emulsion for my berries as well. So for my blueberries, we have very acidic soil here in my area where I live. So my you compost in totes. Yeah, I just feel like I need more space. I live in a townhome, so I'm a small space urban gardener, and I have taken up all the available space with plants, and accoutrement for the plants. So I do not have space for compost, and I probably could move things around, but yeah, I just feel like I need a lot more space to really be able to compost. I have in the totes, we have a toter like our county compost, and I thought about popping some holes into that and just not using, like, not sending the plants out to compost with them, but just continuing to layer because grass clippings and things like that you do to build up your compost. If I had the space and then I could then take that and generate my compost tea, it would be amazing. Yeah, I think it would be great, like I said, to build your own fertilizers if you can get to that point. If you're a composter and if you have the space that you can generate compost tea, that would be amazing. But all of these fertilizers, the organic ones, are not cheap. The synthetic ones are going to be cheaper. If it's something I'm going to eat, I don't like to use synthetic. So that's just out for me. If I'm going to put it in my mouth, I want to stick to the organic. But like the flowers, that's where I would say you could use synthetics. Like here in the house with all of my house plants, I don't use organics on these. I use just like Miracle Grow, the synthetic blue stuff that I can mix in with water, and then I use that to fertilize the indoor plants. But the if it's a flower, no big deal. But my food, I want to try to stay as organic as possible with my food. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, ice water. Yeah. So I definitely love like the worm castings, the bone meal. Like it's so interesting once you become a gardener and you're like, ooh, if I can get some red wigglers. Like we're all about the worms now. I never as a kid would have imagined I would get to this adult space in life and I'm like, ooh, good looking earthworms in my soil. I can't even believe I'm at that place now. Like, yeah, but here I am, enamored of worms. So do I have? Yeah, I do have worm castings out there. So where I use those things are earlier in the season. When I'm first. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for joining us, Lilia. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you again soon. Yeah. So every Thursday, I'll be here every Thursday. So, but yeah, where I use the. Oh wow, you had a few worms fall out and they were alive. What? Yeah. So mine are not alive. Wow. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. The dog has gotten another toy. I'm going to try to keep the squeaking down to a minimum. But yeah. So yeah, I've gotten enamored of worms, but where I use those things, yeah, Dante. Y'all can't see this, but he's literally putting toys up on me like, hey, I'm sure that this is what you're talking, but I think what you mean to do is to play with me. It's not what I mean to do. But yeah, so where I use like the worm castings and those things is at the beginning of the season when I'm charging the soil and I'm putting all of the nutrients in, especially the things that are going to be like slow release. I do more of that at the beginning of the season, and then like halfway through, I'll put a little bit more. But I usually am sticking to the water soluble as we get through the season. Like right around now, I'm fertilizing once per week, and so that was what we just got so roundabout. But that's what I was going to suggest. If you don't currently have like a fertilizer day, I would say pick one. For me, it's always on Mondays is when I fertilize. And anything that you're fruiting, if you're a container gardener like me, anything that's fruiting, like you're responsible for the nutrients. So they're going to be eating very heavily. Like my watermelon, I have to get out there and make sure that I'm fertilizing once a week, definitely, because now it's got a little watermelon growing. So it's as much nutrients as it can take. And I don't know how many watermelons are ultimately going to be out there. I saw it has another female flower, so we'll see if that one gets fertilized. But right now, I've got one growing, and it's just she's so cute. And these are small ones that I'm growing on the deck. Downstairs in the courtyard, I have a crimson sweet, and those can get up to 20 pounds. I don't have any explanation for you guys on what I was thinking. I don't know that I was. And I was like, oh, those are so yummy. But my crimson sweets last year did not get huge. So they stayed small. So down there, yeah, they can get up to 20 pounds. It didn't get as big, it stayed small. And so I am thinking it's going to be the same this year. I guess we'll see because I didn't have any of my watermelon that got bigger than 10 pounds. So like half the size is it's still good to me. That's my personal opinion. I am perfectly happy with a 10-pound crimson sweet, and they were delicious. They were very so tasty. They were so tasty. Like it was crisp, it was juicy, and I just could not believe it started from a seed because I did start them from seed, and so these started from seed as well. And I was only expecting the yellow one to pop up. I had planted the crimson sweet because I had planted it last year, and I was like, well, it's delicious, and I thought I would have that, but the crimson sweet didn't pop up. So I then put in the petite yellow. And I was like, well, I'll try this one. I've never had this before, so I'll try it. So I put the petite yellow in and it popped up. And I was like, great, I have a petite yellow watermelon. But then also the crimson sweet popped up too. So I'm like, okay, well, now I left it to everyone on TikTok to vote like, hey, what do you think? Do we snip this plant or are we going to try to transplant, and everybody was on team let's transplant it. And I was like, man, I was on team snip snip, but that's okay. So now we've got the one in the courtyard that's growing, as well as the one up here. And then I also started some of the small pumpkins. And so we started those on live on Friday, and the first seedling is up. So I put four seeds in. I'll keep two of them, and two I'm going to dispose of. I'm not giving a vote this time because I don't have space for any more. It was so good to chat with you too. Have a great evening. I'm so glad you got a chance to stop by. And I want to build my community here on this dog with this toy. I want to build my community here on YouTube, kind of the same way that we have our community on TikTok. So I want to build more of a community here. And so I'm just going to be present. The toy is back, y'all. Toy is back. You have been a subscriber? No. Because we've talked before on some of my long form posts. So the reason I was like, I need to be going live. Oh, you have yellow squash growing? My friend had yellow squash last year and didn't share it. And I have been in my feelings. So I was like, I wasn't going to grow squash, but I got some seeds. So I just put them out there. Let's see. I put them in my chaos container. But yeah, the one thing that I noticed, like when we would interact on like a post, like if you ever responded to something on my post, like there's no way that I could I could respond back to you, but if you didn't like come back to look at it, then we're not really interacting. And so I love that aspect of what I've gotten from TikTok, that I'm really able to like real time have a conversation like, what are you growing? What's going on? And so YouTube has done things that they're like improving the community. So now you'll be able to like share pictures and stuff, and we can talk. And so I'm going to update my community tab so people can share pictures, and we can like start to have more interaction, as opposed to like, hey, you commented on a post, but then I didn't have a way to like say anything back that we can like communicate. Because there have been times that I'm like, oh, I've responded. And so then I'll go back in to see if there was anything, because it doesn't let me know. It tells me about the initial comment. But like if we have like a list of things that we're saying back and forth, I would get no update. Like every time someone commented, it wouldn't tell me. And so I feel like it just felt like really disconnected. And so that's kind of where they were like, one of my friends was like, oh, we'll join TikTok and it's so great. And I was like, yeah. The nice thing about TikTok is that I was able to have that interaction. Like the garden community is tough over there. It is wonderful. I didn't really understand how to use it, because I was like, oh, this is just one more thing for me to learn, because I am so Gen X. Like, come on. I got to learn another social media thing. But I absolutely loved, like, there's people my age on there, number one. But the other thing is, it's like, okay, y'all are just on in the middle of the night talking about gardening and germination rates. Am I in heaven? Am I confused about where I am here? I am in heaven. So I was like, okay. So I've kind of started interacting there, but the way things run, the platform got taken down earlier this year, and then there's a chance that it could get taken down again. I'm not going to go through not having this interaction that listen, this is nice that I'm talking and people can talk back to me. And so the difference, one of the things that TikTok has over there that YouTube doesn't have yet, I say yet because I don't know what it's going to do. But one of the things that TikTok has that YouTube doesn't have is that you can like put people up in boxes, and there could just be like a whole grid of people, like the Brady Bunch, where they were like, there was like all of them right there. And they're like, hey, how's it going? And they literally have that over there. And so I feel like if TikTok, if YouTube gets that, like we are winning in life because then I can like real time have conversations with people and just build more of a community. And that's the thing, like the community is not just like where I live because none of the people around me, they don't even come outside. I can say like, unless it's a holiday, nobody really comes outside. When there's a holiday come up, you'll see them come outside and they'll grill. Yes. And so I used to have StreamYard. I don't have it anymore. So I could definitely get that back. But I absolutely love that. That people were able to like let's have come up and let's have conversation about what's going on. But the people out here, they're not growing anything. They don't even go into their backyards. So as much as like my flowers are probably over the top. If anybody's looking, if they saw my deck, it looks like a jungle outside. If y'all have seen my deck, so it looks like a jungle out there compared to other people's decks where they have like nothing on there. So my poor little dog, I have taken the toy away. It's back. It's back. Curtis is going crazy with this toy. Oh my goodness. How dare I be on talking to these people? Like, who are these people? Oh, stop it. He's so cute, y'all. Rotten. So cute though. So yeah. But that's one of the things that I love about TikTok. And so, with everything that's kind of going on politically, if they take that platform down again, I don't want to lose the ability to have the interaction in the community that I've had there. And so I was like, you know what? I already have a platform where I've been interacting and talking to people, but let's set up an opportunity where we can actually talk a bit more because I don't know that I know that there are a lot of shows like if y'all watch Garden Answer, I love Garden Answer so much. I watch them, but I'm watching them. I'm not really interacting with them, and they were like at 2 million plus followers. So I don't know how many people they would be able to interact with, but I don't see me ever being at the 2 million mark. You never know, but fine in my little niche community. And if I can have that ability to talk to people and we share and we talk about things that are working in our garden or not, I would love it. You see it? That's so sweet. Hey, that would be amazing. Proven winners would definitely send me free play. I could finally get those incredible hydrangeas because like they get like new stuff that hasn't even been released yet. They just send it to them like, hey, try this out in your garden. I'm like, oh my gosh. Can you imagine? They've got like 10 acres. Their whole show is about building this huge, beautiful garden that is their house. And I just love that. Can you imagine? I would love that. Like all I do is my whole job is going outside and gardening and sharing it with people. And that's what I do for a living. And somebody like, what do you do? I plant seeds. I dig in dirt. I'm a gardener. I'm a fabulous gardener. But gardeners, honestly, y'all, we're out here changing the world. We pretty much need a crown and a cape. Put the crown and the cape. We could have the Beyonce fan like kind of blowing our hair in the wind. Males too. I feel like the men could have the Beyonce fan as well. I'm calling it the Beyonce fan, but you know how people are the people are doing the concert and the fan is like blowing everything back. I could just see a dude out there with his cape on like Superman. I grow squash. That would be awesome. We need to get that popping. I grow squash. I grow tomatoes. I actually brought in two of my San Marzanos today because we've been getting so much rain. One of them was starting to split, and I was like, "Oh, maybe I should pull this." And literally, I just touched the plant, and it just fell off. So it fell off the little thing, and I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess you're ready to come in, and it can still continue to ripen here in the house." Squash Man, listen. That's it, Squash Man, out here growing squash and saving lives. I just see now I'm down a rabbit hole because I can see the Squash Man pulls up. I heard you're having an aphid problem. Dun dun dun. No, squash vine borers. And then they come and fix it. See, now I'm silly. So if it's like you didn't know how silly I was, but yeah, if you watch my videos, so you knew how silly I was. You know. Squash Van out here saving plants one plant at a time. Do do do. Yeah, I just feel like that's all we need. We need our have our crowns on. So I would even wear one, even though I feel like it would get stuck in my hair. We could have our crowns on and then just give us a cape because we're out here being amazing and growing food. Right? I need enough space for like a pitchfork. I don't have a pitchfork because I don't have space in my garden for that. But enough space for like a pitchfork. You are cracking me up with these emojis, Javia. Y'all see I'm just holding the toy now. I'm just holding the toy now, and my dog is so focused on this thing. He's just like back and forth. Like, how do I get to this little cow? I think this is a cow that no longer has ears. So you can see the ears are now gone. Dante is my garden buddy. But yeah, if you do decide to go over to TikTok, that's my name over there. It's the garden buddy. But everywhere else, it's just me, Nisi. That's pretty much it. That's what I call myself. So my goals for this platform, right? Because I am so focused that I am going to have my garden community. And we're just going to share ideas on how we level up our garden. I would love to do more with the do you know those stackable things, the stackable garden systems? So I would love to do more with those, especially as space is at a premium for me. So my goal for this community is that we kind of share ideas for how we level up our garden game. You found something that's amazing, and then we come here and we share it. Or what is this eating my plant? And we come here and we help each other like figure it out. How do we level up our gardens? How do we continue to grow more food? I found this way to make my tomatoes more prolific as opposed to having like 8 plants like I have this year. You could just find ways to make your tomatoes more prolific. So that's the goal. Um, and just to try growing new things because um, this year I had the prolific kiwis. This is my first year with them, and they looked like they were completely unaliving, like I saw nothing. But they've come back. So they were growing just fine and vining. Then the plant completely lost all its leaves, and now it's back. So I'm like, that's great. I love the prolific kiwi. I'm glad to have it. So um, it's a new plant for me, and I expect to have it for several years. And so what I need to learn is how I can trellis this, especially being in my small space, unless I'm moving to a larger space. But I'm hopeful that in this community that we're building here, we'll do that together. We'll find ways to share. Hey, this really worked for me. because what I was getting in just putting out my videos is I think people can look at them and enjoy them, and that's great. But if they had like a better way, I might not even see the comment for like weeks. And then I'm like done this other thing and like, oh man, I wish I would have seen this earlier. This could have saved me a lot of time or a lot of stress. And I think the only way to do that is to just be in community with each other. And I keep using that word, but that's what's really important. I feel like we're so disjointed. And what I found is the community is not just the place where you live, right? Because, like I said, none of these people around here are gardeners. So I'm like online finding my gardener community or seeing like beautiful things other people did. Like one of the plants that's in my backyard, I got because I watched Jim Putnam on HortTube. And so it's like horticultural tube, cute. So um, So I bought that Golden Falls Redbud just because I was watching him. And now it's in my garden and I can share it with others. And it's perfect for my small space. And so, as a small space urban gardener, I feel like I can share that with other people and we can share together. So, I'm going to do more work on this YouTube environment, especially now that they have the ability for us to be able to share, like the community tab can open up so that the community can share more about what they're doing. I love that. I love that. I feel like so maybe we'll have to do that. Maybe we'll have to like set up like meetups and stuff like that. Like I like why not? Because I am goofy. I am. Yes. I am. But how much more like life be life and right? It just seemed like everything like oh it's like one fire to the next. You have to find some joy in it. You know what I'm saying, Jamia? Like we have to find some joy in it. Like we just gotta laugh our way through this. Like when the aphids completely demolished my white rose, like demolished my white rose. I have had like no roses this season. I went live on TikTok. That was actually my first time going live on TikTok. Like, join me at 8 p.m. for aphid destruction. Or like I was on TikTok this morning because like I said, I'm 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. I do a morning piece in the garden there. And I had started a little later this morning because I had an appointment. So I was on there and like there's like a clear line of demarcation, like, oh, I see the sun. I have an eastern and west facing exposure. So in the morning time, the sun is on the front of my house. In the afternoon, it is the hot, full sun. And so I was in the backyard, but there was like this clear line where you could see there, the sun is moving in. It's about to be hot, hot. So I'm like, I don't want to go into the sun. Like we're gonna stand in this shady area still, and we're going to look at the plants over there, but we're not going over there. We're not going over there because it's hot. And so I'm like out there, like, you shall not pass. Did you see Lord of the Rings? I'm like, dude, go into the light, Caroline. It's hot. It was hot. So I was just like, I was being silly, but I was like, yeah, I don't know if all of y'all get this because again, I am very Gen X. So some of these, like Lord of the Rings, I feel like people should know if they're into like fantasy, sci-fi type stuff at all. But like, don't go into the light, Caroline. That was like Poltergeist. I don't know if everybody would have gotten that. It was me being silly. But yeah, like we gotta laugh this out. Like number one, I'm having fun. And number two, like, what's the other option? I don't want to. I don't know if I want to take gardening that level of serious because I've definitely had some hits and misses in my garden this year. Like I did, like I said, my jalapeno. I tried to start from seed, and it did nothing. But I honestly think it's because I put it outside and it was just way too cold. So I think if I would have started it from seed and I would have left it here in the warmth of the house and like put it on a heat mat, then it would have been fine. The negative though, for me, I wish I had a dedicated space where I could start seeds, because the negative for me is that when I start things in the house, is that the fungus gnats. A lot of the soil is not good, and I cannot be like, if I have to purchase more soil, I can't be out here doing Happy Frog all the time, which I love Happy Frog soil, which is why I'm naming it. But that is not a cheap soil. So if I'm just seed starting, I'm just doing a potting mix and like putting the seeds in there and giving it a humidity dome. But once you take that humidity dome off, and there's an exposure to air, then you might have the fungus gnats, because I had fungus gnats in here. And so I, for my house plants, once a month I do the mosquito bits where I make the tea. I buy the mosquito bits and make the tea with it. So they're just little granules, and those will take care of the larvae so that they don't grow and multiply, because I don't want that. So that's my negative though. I think it would have been better like if I had more space, if I was willing to turn my house into like a seed starting like operation. I feel like that would be a lot better, right? I would have a lot more space that I could like just have all of these shelves and things set up with the grow lights and the fans running, so that but I have to live here. Number one, I don't want my house at like 78 degrees. That's very tropical. I try to keep my house at 72 degrees. And so 78, it is warm. Now the plants would be happy and they would be thriving, but I would be struggling. I would be like that meme. Have you ever seen that meme of what's his name? We actually have the same birthday, James Brown. And he comes up, he's like, it's a gift or something. And he comes up and he's singing and he's just covered in sweat to his head. That is literally what I would look like if I had to start seeds and try to keep them happy in my house. We can't have that. I can't. I cannot. I shall it. I will it. I won't. So I need these seeds to be able to go outside. And if yeah, the nets, man. So and you don't want to hit them with the, yeah. So that's the thing. Like I had a separate area, like even a garage or something, right? Where everything, because I don't have a garage. So even if I had like a space like that where it was just a separate room, or a room like if you had the basement, like you could close off a space and you can have it be nice, and you can set up the fans and everything. You have the humidity and you can control the heat. That would be perfect. But having that in as a small space gardener, having that in the home where I live, I can't like be like, have you run into with the fungus gnats? Like, listen, I understand not doing it again, because have you run into with the fungus gnats where you're trying to like drink your orange juice or something, and then a gnat just flies into it? Oh, bruh, I can't. I can't. So I was like, nah, I got to find a better way, because I can't do it. So I can start my seeds and have them in the, once they're in the little seed starting tray with the little plastic thing on it, and it's all contained. But as soon as you take that off and the gnats are free, we got problems. They try to take over your house and they're everywhere. I still had like the gnats were like they had gotten into my into this tree that's right next to me. I'm like looking back at it like this tree that's right next to me. And so that's problematic. I can't live with the gnats in the house. And I won't. I can't and I won't. I cannot and I will not. I willn't. I won't. So I have to, I want to start my seeds, but there has to be an enclosed area. And so that's why this growing season with our last frost date this year, our last frost date in my area, because you got to consider your microclimate too. Our last frost date here was May 26th. That's And it was serious. It was still cold. And so that's what happened with my peppers. I know it was the problem that it was too cold because some things just are not going to thrive in that cold climate. And the peppers are one of them. So the bell peppers, even though they don't want to be hot, hot, they also don't want to be cold, cold. So they're not growing when it's still 58 degrees outside. You need to, I would have kept them in here and let them be on a heat mat. That would have been, your last frost day was February 8th. Me and you is not the same. Oh my gosh, you're so lucky. What? February 8th. Now, I know there's some things that I can grow here that you can't. Like I love growing things with bulbs, like tulips and things like that. The things that need a cold. Now you could grow them there, but you gotta like put them in the refrigerator like they need to be, or in the freezer. No, you don't need to be in the refrigerator because they need to be like less than 40 degrees for like 13 weeks or something like that. So I love growing in this zone because I'm from Texas, so it's much hotter in Houston where I'm from. I love growing in this zone, and I like for it to be cool. Now, when it gets cold, I'm not a fan. Snow's on the ground, Nisi's not around. but but yeah, February 8th was your last frost date. Are you kidding me? When I tell you we were all over here like limping along, like May 26th, huh? We just were trying to make it. You're probably like May rolled around. Y'all was probably already in your bikinis at the swimming pool, drinking your fruity drink with an umbrella straw. We over here struggling. Like I just want to put my bell peppers outside. I literally was just like, I just want to put my bell peppers outside. So I had just gotten to a point, like honestly, it wasn't quite April 15th, but it might have been, it was in the month of April that I was just like, look, this stuff just has to go outside. I cannot continue to have all of this stuff in my house and the fungus gnats and all of I was like, I'm done. This stuff just has to go outside. Oh, you lived in Northern Virginia? Okay, so you would have been close by because I'm in the DMV area. So yeah, that's where I'm in the DMV area. I'm from Houston, Texas. I know my family would love for me to come home, but nothing in me wants to go back to Houston. It's so hot. And the crazy thing is, it wasn't this hot when I was growing up. Like I went there for a conference in the summertime, and I don't go home in the summer anymore because I can't take the heat. I'm like the pansies. I can't take the heat. So I went in the summertime, and it felt like my skin was on. It was burning. I was sitting outside, and it literally I felt like I'm roasting right now. Like my skin was burning. I'm like I'm getting crispy. It was like 112 degrees or something. And then at night, when it cooled off, it was 99 degrees. What? That's not normal. Who's living in this? I can't believe I feel like yeah, we're gonna do something. You're gonna do something outside? They're like, yeah, we're gonna go out to eat. You gonna leave the house though? Because the AC is on in here. Y'all going outside? I'm not going out there. It's terrible outside. Yeah, that was just I don't think I could live in that weather anymore. But I do like to go home and visit. And I'm very jealous that you were able to garden in it. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. Your last frost date was February 8th. I'm just over here having a whole rant about May the 26th, and you're over there like February 8th. February 8th. So, what I've learned here's the lesson I've learned because the toy is still here. So, this is my first time going live. The toy is still here and he is fixated. There are so many plush toys in this house. He is fixated on this toy. So what I'm going to have to do next time is put him in a separate area so I am not fighting my poor little dog back and forth behind the plush toys because he is fixated on this little cow that now no longer has ears because he's taken them. The ears are gone. But he is fixated. You miss having seasons? I would say I love that about here. When the trees start changing colors, it's a beautiful show. So I definitely feel you on that. I love having the seasons here, which is something we didn't really have seasons in Texas. It got cooler. So we got like, we probably got, we had like 3 of the seasons, kind of. I don't think we ever really hit winter. But who knows now? Everything's so crazy. They're getting snow. And so I'm really curious about what the gardeners are doing in that environment. So my hope is in this arena, maybe we'll have some of the gardeners from that area and they can talk about, hey, this is how I'm getting through here. And we're just sharing in our community. This is what I'm doing. Like for me, I was explaining to someone earlier on my TikTok live that they were concerned because their strawberries and their tomatoes weren't really producing. It's hot. Give them some protection and that will actually help. Now for me, because I'm in a small space, I could just let up my patio umbrellas. And so I have 2 umbrellas for up here. And so I kind of arranged the plants where they can get a little protection from the sun, from the patio umbrellas. I think for if you have a larger space, you might consider like shade cloth or something like that. I don't really have to worry about a shade cloth where I am. But I was just like, yeah, the same way we need protection from the sun. If it's 100 degrees, you're not just standing out there. You want to put a hat or something on. And that's kind of what we want to give to our plants too. And so hot, cold, and rainy on the same day. Listen, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. Yeah. Well, I went to college in New Orleans and it was so funny. I remember people would visit and we would be walking around with our umbrellas and we would have our, rain shoes or whatever with us. And they're like, oh, it's a beautiful day. I'm like, yeah, but it's going to rain at 1:00. They're like, what? It's not a cloud in the sky. I think it will be at 1:00. You might want to get you a slicker. So like, well, Walgreens was doing a brisk business because everybody had to run into the store to buy their rain slickers because it was going to rain. It's like the tropical. It would come in and it would just be this thunderstorm and the streets would flood because, New Orleans is below sea level. So it would just be a deluge of water. And then like around 2:00, it's no longer a thunderstorm. It's back being beautiful and hot again. Now it's ridiculously humid because we just had this crazy rain. So there's that. So that's one of those things that people, you have to consider, like microclimates are a real thing, especially with how crazy the weather's been as I've gotten older. Like for those of us who garden, we kind of have to pay more attention. So I just like, but you can just grow. Do you grow any like, because dahlias could live down there. I'm just trying to think, does your basil stay down there? Is it still, what zone is that? Is that 9 or 10 that you're in? Because my basil is an annual for me. So I restart from seed every year, but I'm wondering, would your basil like just keep living down there or do you have to start your basil over? Because I'm trying to think like, what else you're a 9B. Okay. I don't know. I'm sure there's an area where basil, because that's like my favorite thing. So this year, because I'm growing less basil than I did last year. Last year I went crazy on the basil. So this year I'm doing lemon, the holy basil or tulsi, the sweet basil, and then the purple opal. And I always do Thai basil because I cook with it a lot. And so I'm going to turn the lemon basil into um, soap. And so I need to reach out. There's a lady on YouTube. Her name is Artisan Soap Black Hands. And I'm going to ask her if oh, your purple basil is doing good. Mine is doing okay. It just is not as deep purple as it usually is. It's like purplish green. You just dropped lemon basil the other day. Oh, that is like one of the best smelling things I've ever smelled. And so my goal is to take the lemon basil this year and to turn it into soap. And so I'm going to ask her if she would be willing to do a collab with me, like showing me what the things that I need to do to make my lemon basil and convert it from being this wonderful smelling herb into actually being a soap that I could use. And I just think that would be awesome. And see, I literally was just talking with one of my friends on TikTok, and he said he didn't like it. So I thought about getting lime basil. I think lemon basil is the best thing I have ever smelled in my life. Now I don't think I've smelled lime basil, but now, see, I wish I could just go somewhere and smell it, because my only option then would be to grow it from seed. And do I need to grow this from seed? I don't know. I love growing basil from seed. Actually, it's not too late. I could just go ahead and it smells like a margarita. Well, you had me at margarita. That sounds delicious. Oh, you know what? What if you took some of that lime basil? Could you like muddle that into your margarita? I wonder what like what would that give? Do you drink margaritas? Because I'm wondering. Yeah, okay, because I'm wondering. Because I had my mint and I would just like muddle my mint. Of course that was mojitos, right? But and like some of the sage and stuff, I just put that in drinks, honestly. But I am wondering, that lime basil, I need you to report back. I need you to do this for the team. I need you to do this for us all. I need you to make this drink. And then, like, is this a hit or a miss? Because this sounds like it could be a hit. Because I've been taking my Tulsi, the holy basil, for science, exactly. We're just trying to see how this works out. I need you to make this for science, because the Tulsi, I've been taking the holy basil with lemon balm and the mint leaves and just putting them in my tea steeper, just pouring the water and just letting it steep and just drinking that natural tea. It is delicious because the Tulsi is so fragrant. It is so fragrant. It is absolutely delicious. And so I think it's one of the best things I've smelled. And it's a very prolific grower because I started it from seed, but it has taken off in a way that the lemon and the regular and the purple have not. And so I don't know why, but this holy basil, it's just a much more prolific grower. I've cut it down. I didn't really have to cut the others in the same way, but I've had to cut it down. And I'm thinking I'm just going to dry it and continue to use it in teas because it's delicious. And so I'm definitely not going to let it go. But yeah, I'm gonna need to have you report back on lime basil in the margarita. I'm just wondering if you muddle it just a little bit, just like not an overpowering flavor. So you might have to kind of work with it a little bit. But if you were to muddle the lime basil with the tequila and the fresh lime juice, I just feel like I'm interested what that would give, because the basil would be like a different flavor, right? Because that doesn't go with a margarita. But I am super curious. I'm really excited about what we're building here because I'm really looking forward to our gardening community. You're gonna send me some? Thank you, because that's really I have to try it. I am very interested in trying the lime basil. Last year I had cinnamon, I had the lemon, I of course have the Thai, the regular. I did Genovese. I did so many. I didn't do the holy though. That was the one I didn't have, and I'm willing to try it. In my chaos container, I have squash and beets, and I put some squash, beets, and cabbage in the chaos container. And so we'll see what makes it. It's like Thunderdome over there. Two men enter, one man leaves. So if the squash is like, you get out of here, cabbage, I'm taking over. I mean, that's just kind of where we'll be. But y'all, that I've reached the end of this stream. I'm super excited. I will be on every Thursday, beginning at 6:30, and I'm hoping that we'll build our gardening community here. I'm going to work with the community tab so that everybody can share their pictures and we can share and talk with each other there because that's what I would like for us to see. And I'm really excited. I feel like this went really, really well. Thanks so much for rocking with me. Jamia, I can't believe we did it. So this is awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out. I am going to end this stream. I had a ball. I'm going to end this stream, but I will be back on here on next Thursday with a new topic. But it's still going to be surrounding gardening because this is what I do. And if you're over on TikTok, you can find me on there. I am the Garden Buddy, and I go live Monday through Friday at 6:30 a.m. for Peace in the Garden, where we just start our day with some slowness and intention in the gardening space. All right, I'll see you in the morning. Have a great night, guys. Bye.